Why do Kohanim, the priests, need to have their head and body poured with olive oil? Welcome to Parashat Tetzaveh. Shabbat Shalom everyone, Parashat Tetzaveh, Shmuel here, and today we're going to touch based on a very interesting connection between last week's parasha and this week's parasha. In last week's portion, we read about Truma, about the different vessels and the structure of the tabernacle. This is the structure we waited for to have. This is next step, moving outside of Egypt, going to the desert, aiming to the land of Israel. We're building a structure, a place for God. Everything was there in last week's portion, and this week's portion, we're going into the details of how the priests are going to work. What will they wear? What's going to be their uniform? The different types of clothes they're going to wear in different occasions. In a way, these two portions should have been connected together. Why were they split into two? And why the first command of this week portion, Tetzaveh, talks about the olive oil? Yes, the one that is really the essence of how to anoint the priests, the kings, the vassals. All of them are going to be poured with this olive oil. Also, this olive oil is going to be used to light the menorah, to light the Chanukiah later, to light the temple lights. What is so special about this unique oil that needs to be mentioned right here in between the two weekly portions? And if there's a significant element of this olive oil, what does it represent in the bigger case of what's the connection between the tabernacle, Israel, and the oil? So just as an introduction, I want to try to really dig deep into one of the most prominent translators, commentaries of the Torah. His name is Chizkuni. He has a very special name, and he mentions a very unique comment on this week portion, and he says as follows. He says, in a way, you can look at last week portion, Truma, as the infrastructure of the temple. There are going to be the vassals, there's going to be the walls, there's going to be the different elements, the surrounding area, let's call it. And only on this week portion, we're going to go into the people who are actually going to work in, workers, the players, the people that worship it. What is those connections between them, and how is the oil inside? Chizkuni mentions that it reminds them on a different scale something that happened a while back when the world was created. There's the creation itself. And if you notice in the creation, it looks almost the same. In the first 3 days, God really works on the infrastructure. Light, darkness, land, water, sky. And then it jumps into after the infrastructure, the people who are working, the players, if you wish, the animals, and then human beings. And what is significantly in between? Wednesday, when you talk about the sun and the moon. These are the vassals. These are the elements of really bring the light. There's the element of light, but the connection needs to be with a certain element. The sun, the moon brings the lighting into fruition, into actually being there. The very essence of the temple, of the tabernacle, if you look at that in this perspective, is to connect between the divine and earth. How can you connect with something so spiritual, so high, and the land and the soil? As we transfer from Egypt into the land, there need to be a system of bringing those highlights, the spiritual side, the emotional side, into actual work in this land. How can you connect between heaven and earth? How can you connect between holiness and the day-to-day life? The light, the oil represent that. In the oil, there's the secret of the actuality of life. And how can life brought into something very physical, and the flame that's going to be lit there is the spiritual side that connects the heaven and earth. And exactly the same connection, if you wish, will be exactly where we're going to find ourselves in the midst of the biggest questions about the people of Israel. Why are you not belonging to the heavens, and why do you bring everything to your day-to-day life? It's all about doing, it's all about action, it's all about how you work. The tabernacle tells you the secret. While the spiritual side is very important and everything is going to be built and thought, but there's also need to be, after the emotions and after the great thoughts and beliefs, there need to be a mundane work in the tabernacle. The priests, the Kohanim, are going to work in very precise way. They're going to walk here, they're going to cut that, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. If you do not take the spirituality and contain it and bring it down into actions, into the day-to-day process of the Kohanim, of the priests in the tabernacle, you lost something big. It's very easy in a way to be up there in the sky in the spiritual side. It's of course much easier. The whole world is here on the ground. The question is how you connect those. In a sense, the oil brings you exactly that. It can purify the mundane life and bring the flame into it, the spirituality into it. In a way, many of our sages talk about the olive oil as one of the representatives of Israel in the world. Yes, just like that, the people of Israel can only be existing in the world, can extract from the world with a little bit of pushing them. Just like the olive needs to be pushed to have this oil, this is also one of the unfortunate rituals of Israel. Only when they're being pushed, they bring their holiness, their power, their strength out. We know that olive oil and generally oil also floods with water, can be separated in a way, but also can connect this world and the spiritual world. And all of that coming together is exactly the notion of why do we need to pour on the priests the olive oil. Because you see, it's really hard to connect this world and the spiritual world. Look at us. Look at the world. Look at everything you see with your eyes. To be able to bring the spiritual side, the elements that are from the divine, you need to have this connector. The olive oil, the most pure olive oil, katit, the first few drops of the olive that were on the top side of the tree. You didn't beat them between all the garbage and all the leaves. You just take them, handpick them, a couple of pressures, and these small drops of oil are the one that's going to be purifying everything. They will eventually bring the light into the temple. They will bring the power of spirituality to the vassals and to the priests and to all of us. In these days, as we go into the month of Adar and we talk about Purim in the near future, we always remember this. What the world brings to us is a challenge. And the biggest problem and the biggest issue that we need to ask ourselves, how can we make this world a place that it's not only what you see, it's not only the mundane, it's not only this physical world, the understanding that there's something from the divine, from up there, spirituality, things that can bring up the flames and can connect this earth and the world above us. Shabbat Shalom.